Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Let's look straight at the Fear and Greed Index, which is a current reading of 22, down from yesterday's 23. Not a whole lot of difference there. However, we're still in the extreme fear phase. I know this is becoming really common. You're hearing me say, hey, extreme fear, extreme fear, extreme fear. We've been living here for a while, but let's always remember to zoom out a little bit. The 1 month chart shows extreme fear, but the 3 month chart shows how far we've come. 3 months ago, as you recall, Bitcoin's price was much higher than it is right now, leading to what I figure is irrational levels of greed in the market. And right now, we've been seeing that over recent days as well. Also irrational levels of fear based on what the market is doing. I personally believe we're still in the middle of a bull run and that we haven't seen the end of it, that we have another leg up. But as per usual, is this legal financial business advice? No! It's the ramblings of a crazy person on YouTube. Really, own your own choices, people. Really, I mean, I'm being just straightforward here. So that's the Fear and Greed Index for today. Have I mentioned, by the way, that we have a sponsor for the show? Yes, we do. The sponsor is MineYour.biz with the merch shop. The brand new I Might Pump, but I Don't Dump t-shirt is available over at MineYour.biz. Yes, we accept Dogecoin as payment. But moving into what to mine, our profitability on the R9 380 at 14 cent power. Not going to be a whole big difference between yesterday and today. Actually, a little bit there with Ethereum Classic moving up to 29 cents. We have not adjusted any possible ETH 4G numbers for the R9 380. Why haven't we done that? We don't have those numbers yet. I'll continue to dig, see if we can get slightly better numbers in. We can get some custom values moving forward. But Ethereum Classic still takes the lead. Ergo is on the leaderboard here at about 22 cents in profit per day, with Ravencoin still making a bare profit, but not really that far above break even. Same with Zono. I suspect that we're going to see Zono getting a little bit more put into its place by more popular algorithms as well. The Fury HBM card, if you're not familiar with the R9 Fury, the R9 Fury featured high bandwidth memory. That is something that is not GDDR5. So the R9 Fury, one of the first HBM cards offered to consumers ever, doing Ravencoin at 78 cents of profit per day, Zono at 66, Ethereum Classic at 47. Clearly, the memory core paired with the highly performant CPU or highly performant chip, right, for processing, main GPU processor, main silicon, clearly is doing much better for Ravencoin and Kapow, as well as ProgPow Xeon Zono. So overall, it's the real deal. It's the full package, not just doing some cheats through really fast memory, as we normally see with Ethereum and variants. So moving on to 4 gig Polaris cards, going to start with the 570, have that represent our 4 gig Polaris edition part. Ravencoin, top of the list there. Interesting, guys. We see a reversal here where Ethereum Classic is second place to Ravencoin. And it looks like right now the trading volume has gone up just a little bit with Ravencoin. Clearly there have been some announcements there. We'll dig into that for tomorrow's morning edition, as well as some of the other news surrounding both Ravencoin and Ethereum Classic. I apologize. We got apparently the Thanos update coming up for Ethereum Classic, which I failed to dive into last night, and obviously the Magneto hard fork as well. So there's already some great content out there. Certainly one video that comes to mind and one creator is Serpent X Special Forces. So Vega, if you're watching, I love you, brother, and you're doing great. I'm glad your channel's back. Audience, please go check out his content on the latest news for Ethereum Classic. We'll be sure to integrate that into this show in future episodes, so that I'm not so that we're not taken off guard by some of these profitability reversals between these two projects. It really does seem like it's going to come down to Ravencoin and Ethereum Classic for 4 gig cards and for 8 gig cards, as Ethereum is no longer accessible to us as small to mid-scale miners. But that's our 4 gig card on Polaris. Let's look at our 8 gig cards for Polaris. Again, at 14 cent power with more than 5 BTC of daily trading volume. And it's Ethereum, of course, top of the list. Profits up just a little bit from yesterday to today. all the way up over $1.50 every single day on the 8 gig Polaris part. Raven coin numbers there looking about the same as the 4 gig part. Same with Ethereum Classic numbers there, about the same. Those are our top 3 for the native coin. We have a lot of nice hash entrants there as well. A distant fourth though is Ergo with the Auto Lycos algorithm at about 73 cents per day in profit. Again, not my favorite. We'll do a deeper dive on the Cardano ecosystem project named Ergo really soon. But as of right now, from what I can tell and from what I've read so far, I don't know if it has the strength to go the distance. Maybe Ethereum Classic, but we'll talk about that another time. Vega 56 is HBM2, right? The entry-level HBM2 card, and looking at about just under 50 mega hash per second. Is it possible you're going to get higher numbers than that? Yes, but these are average estimates. At 14 cent power, wow. The nice hash is paying more on Auto Lycos for this card than you're earning on Ethereum. I don't think I saw that coming. But for native assets, Ethereum is at the top of the list with Ergo in a very close second, actually. Only 20 cents difference every single day for profitability, and Ravencoin a distant third at about $1.50 per day, as well as Ethereum Classic not hitting that much lower in profit than Ravencoin. But that's our Vega 56. Moving to Radeon 7, top of the line Vega Core with HBM2 memory. And we've got Ethereum all day at $5.31 per day, with Ergo a very distant second at under $4 daily profit. Same with Ethereum Classic at almost $3 daily profit, and Ravencoin at nearing the $2 mark of daily profit. It's so crazy how the difference is there with that memory hardness of the ETH hash algorithm, really favoring these Vega series cards, or these Vega family with HBM2 series cards. But that's Team Red. For Team Green, Team Red, let's also go with our, I tend to jump over this. Let's go with the 5600 XT and the 6800 XT. Calculate both of those together. We're going to just combine these moving forward, guys. And because the memory size is not that big a difference there. And it looks like Ethereum's top of the list, 585. Ravencoin, distant second at 420. Get it? Get it? Guys, all right, so that's our lineup. Ethereum Classic is still there, of course, but it's even lower than $3.50 per day. Really difficult to take those kinds of profits when Ethereum is cashing out almost $6 of daily profit for those cards between the two. Of course, the lion's share is going to go to the 6800 XT. I think we did the calculation last time that it's about 60% roughly of the resulting profits there for that card. Going with the value and efficiency play of the 1060, the 1660, the 2060, and the 3060. Let's calculate our Team Green numbers here. And we've got, again, Ethereum, top of the stack, almost $6 per day, with the lion's share going to the 3000 series RTX card. The second place for native assets is Ravencoin, or native tokens or native coins is Ravencoin. We're going to skip right over Nice Hash and pretend like it doesn't exist for this argument. But Ravencoin is paying under $5 a day. ProgPow Z on Zano, of course, are going to be very similar. Rather, these are both variants of ProgPow with KawPow and ProgPow Z. So your profits there are. It's interesting to see them be so close. Certainly performance is going to be very close on these cards, on the Team Green cards on ProgPow. So shouldn't be too shocked there. MTP's paying out at over $4 per day on Firo. Go to the top of the line, 3090, 2080 Ti, 1660S, and 1080 Ti. And at 14 cent power, we've got Ethereum, again, top of the list at $12.69. About half of that is going just to the 3090. Ravencoin and Zano are also nearly neck and neck. Zano only about 20 cents per day less than Ravencoin. We can take a look at those charts really soon to kind of check to see what the trading volume is on these two. I get the sense, again, that Ravencoin is probably a little bit more accurate a trading chart right now based on the volume profile. And again, I don't think that this profitability will necessarily play out long term for Zano as being something that's going to displace Ravencoin from leaderboard. However, on some of these higher performance cards where you have ProgPow as the dominant, or as a dominant algorithm over the mining profits of some ETH hash coins like Ethereum Classic, it's going to be tough to ignore Zano in the long haul. And it keeps turning up like a bad penny here, guys. This is 2 days in a row. We'll track this over time, but we do have the averages set for only 3 days right now. So it could be that we're just seeing a micro trend here and that this goes away over the next couple of days, but we'll keep our eyes on that. So really briefly, guys, I wanted to just mention that the reason that I created these portfolios, and especially have an emphasis on the GPU mining portfolios and have been talking about DeFi and projects launching on DeFi lately, is just because, in case you've been living under a rock since last summer, guys, DeFi summer came and went. DeFi summer 2.0 is in the midst of happening right now on second layer or parallel layer solutions like Matic or the Polygon network. And there's so many opportunities for passive yield, not staking as we used to know it with masternodes, but passive yield by doing lending programs or by loaning out one's crypto, and awesome lending rates for taking out crypto loans. There's nothing quite like the opportunity that we see right now, and I'd love to continue to explore that more deeply with you because I think it affects us directly as GPU miners. One case in point is just looking at some of the financials for Uniswap right here. This is the performance of Uniswap, right? Since earlier last year, right? So we've got from 1 year to the next, rather. So this is 2020 to 2021, and look at that curve, right? And this really does represent adoption. Let me jump out of the way so I can show you really quickly the full stats here, though. Or I'll just rattle them off, I guess. But trading volume at over $250 billion, right? $250 billion in trading volume in that time, with almost $1 billion of liquidity provider revenue, meaning that liquidity providers who offer up their Ethereum and their USDC the way we might do. I know Son of a Tech mentioned some time ago that he was going to be selling off some of his Ethereum in order to peg that to coins like USDC, stable stores of value or stable coins within the ecosystem. If we have these coins already, some of that liquidity provision that one can do on Uniswap has generated them almost $1 billion in revenue. It's crazy because we're working with this, getting these coins at a discount, right? Because we're mining them. And then this is being paid out on top of some of these assets without having to go to an exchange, without having to KYC, and in general, depending on who you ask, right? Not financial advice. In some cases, not having to incur any kind of liability for capital gains based on the types of trades that are being done, right? Whether they're like or kind trades, or being traded for like kind assets, like kind coins, right? So again, not an expert in that regard, but I do know that as an opportunity, we've never seen anything quite like this before. Right here, they say the total revenue for Uniswaps in particular is about 16% of the liquidity provider revenue. They've earned $130 million. Their costs and expenses have only been $10 million, guys. That's a profit of $120 million for them over the year. $10 million a month is what they're pulling down in profits on average over the last month, just for running this platform that makes our lives so much better. And frankly, I think they're worth every penny and more, right? Every Satoshi and more based on what they've been able to do for us. Take a look at that trading volume. That's permissionless trading for us to be able to use the Ethereum that we mine and then go get other assets that we feel strongly about or that we believe in. It's so cool. So their earnings are, there you go, at 120 million. Their fully diluted market cap is 12.3 billion. And then their, let's see. And then their price to earnings ratio here. I apologize, guys. I'm a little bit fried from the day. Their price to earnings ratio is 102.5x. Dang. I just, this is the kind of thing that is built in a permissionless, free and open source software world, right? It's not as though somebody can't just go out there and swap or fork Uniswap. We've seen that happen. But here's just Uniswap alone, let alone all the copycats and clones. This is just Uniswap. What a crazy world we're going into. And as GPU miners, we get front row seats, right? I'm here for it, guys. I'm absolutely here for it. So here's our portfolio on CoinGecko, starting with our GPU mined coins. And I apologize again, guys. This is a little bit more rapid fire show. We'll do a little bit of commentary along the way here, but I don't think we have as many questions about, for example, that that market position flip between Zano and Ravencoin. I think that was a little bit more clarified after we looked at those charts. So not really a lot of rabbit holes to jump down this time, I don't think. But in GPUs, we got wrapped representations of Bitcoin that are still leading the pack. Ethereum in a second place, technically, to those two wrapped Bitcoin representations. Matic Aave interest-bearing wrapped ETH is still pretty high on the list. Zano is still higher based on the snapshot of what we put into this paper portfolio over Ravencoin, and it's by a significant margin. Total P&L is negative 35.29% for the entire portfolio, but looking at these two right here, it's a 12% difference between Ravencoin and Zano. So Zano has definitely held its value based on the snapshot so much better, and it's clearly in the middle of something of an upward trend there, but so is Ravencoin. I think it's just has not enjoyed quite the same trading volume from a couple of trading spikes there, and it's following a very, very different pattern for Zano. Could be from any number of project specific goings on and news, but just saying that there's a big difference there. Ethereum Classic is just behind it, and I think, guys, in the coming days and weeks, we're going to see that those three are the three to look at, that it isn't just Ethereum Classic and it isn't just Ravencoin that we should be paying attention to as GPU miners, but that we will have options like this, right? With Zano using Prog POW, it's one of the only crypto notes that does, right? The close relatives of Monero and Bitcoin, those style coins. It's one of the few that does that. And so when you're on Team Green and you need a private by default coin to mine, or when you're looking for a private by default coin to mine, Zano is going to give you more bang for your buck. You're not going to get quite the same amount of mining performance and hash rate out of Team Green cards for some of the other coins on this list. So if you haven't looked closely at that, that could explain that for somebody who doesn't know why. But bottom of the list is still Haven. However, that price is going up, right? We're at 340 today. That percentage, that delta is going down, right? So that percentage negative is going down, and we're getting back towards 70% below where we started this portfolio, the snapshot that we gave of 1,000 paper dollars for this portfolio. Swap, still second to last, still hurting really bad. BitTube also hurting really bad still. Not a whole lot of recovery, not a whole lot of relief. In fact, in the last 24 hours, there is some downward movement in the coin price. Don't know what that's all about, guys. I apologize to those teams. If anything about this show is affecting morale or affecting public perception negatively, that's not my intent. And I don't consider myself that important to voice in that space. So if anybody is watching the show and saying like, well, maybe I should get rid of these, don't listen to me about that, guys. I'm not trying to tell anybody to dump any coins, right? Dumping coins does not help anyone decide what to do next. If you do need to average out of a position, then like you do you, right? You figure out, like, I don't pay your bills. I don't make your choices. You do those things for yourself, including figuring out whether or not you're going to stick with certain projects. For me, I am seriously considering at some point in the future taking them out of my portfolio, but for right now, we're going to keep them here for the sake of reference so we can see how they stack up. They weren't at the bottom of the stack the entire time that we had this portfolio, so clearly there have been some shifts in the stacked ranking. It'll be good to see what happens in the coming days and weeks. All right, guys, middle of the pack, it's worth mentioning that without too many massive surprises, we've still got Flux and Rio currency towards the middle of the portfolio. Same with Conceal. They're all down at almost the 40% dip mark, which is not awesome, but it's life or death right now as far as some of these coins, and the cutoff appears to be somewhere around the almost 30% dip mark, where anything above that line clearly seems to be holding better value. Polygon is recovering really well right now also, but strictly speaking, it's not a directly mineable coin, right? It's one of those things that we are mining to Polygon network and then maybe trading wrapped ETH for. So if that's something you feel strongly about as well, I mean, Polygon was knocking on the door of 50 cents not too long ago during that dip. It was a phenomenal entry point for anybody who was interested, and it's recovering extremely well. As you see right there, that recovery pattern, it popped right up, and that trend, that new resistance line that it's playing with is just a much higher channel than most of those other. Even just like looking at this from a distance, right, without consulting any kind of like candlestick charts to see where our wicks are above and below our candlesticks. It's just obvious that Polygon is performing way differently, right? It's just built different, straight up. So let's move from our GPU portfolio into our hard drive portfolio. Also, P&L here is still doing better than any of the other sides, negative 26.63%, with MadeSafe still carrying the portfolio and Chia still dragging the portfolio by almost 80% down. So bummer, but there is a little bit of relief, a tiny bit of relief since yesterday for some of these coins. MadeSafe coin is only going up since our last episode. Same with Filecoin and Saya coin, which I didn't expect to see either, but Saya is delivering on some of what they promised. Maybe we should do a deeper dive on it. I do have one of the Skynet accounts. I haven't done any static hosting from Skynet of any elements, but I'd like to try it on my website as I do a statically generated website on GitHub pages. So maybe Saya coin would be a good solution for a guy like me to try out in the real world and see if they offer real world utility. Let me know down in the comment section, guys. I'm not like sponsored to say any of that stuff. Like, I'm just trying to find real world use cases for some of the stuff in these portfolios that we all have a common interest in. But that's our hard drive side of the portfolio. CPU mineable coins. Whew, all right. Total P&L down 37%. Monero still at the very bottom of the list, but it has come up over the last 7 days and over the last 24 hours as well. I think the news of the proof of work algorithm change, we're moving to solo mining on the random X algorithm, I think has been a net positive. I think there are more people feeling good about Monero even than before. And let's be real. People who know about Monero and are into Monero tend to like it. It's a fun coin, right? It's a test net for Monero in an unofficial capacity, and it's a meme coin, right? It does both, right? In in the UTXO-based systems over in Bitcoin land, you've got Litecoin that's sort of an unofficial test net for Bitcoin, and then you've got Dogecoin that's a fork of Litecoin that is like the official first meme coin ever. Well, Monero does both at the same time, and it's also private by default, and it's also CPU mineable. So much to love about Monero, so much to love about Monero. They're here on the list. Definitely increased price on Monero since the last 24 hours, so we're seeing some recovery overall in the market. Raptorium, top of the list at over 7% over the last 24 hours. Just kicking butt, taking names. Big Piggy, good on ya. All the team over at Raptorium, really happy for you guys. This trading chart, kind of weird. Definitely giant spikes there, but the overall trend, you see that channel moving up, that seems like it's the genuine movement of the entire market, and it's a little bit more bullish for the Raptorium project than several others. So, I mean, if this trend continues, it's going to be the first in our CPU mining portfolio to break back out of the negative, back out of the red, and back into profit from the 1,000 paper dollars that we put into this portfolio to begin with. Moving from CPUs over to ASICs, and we've got, oh, you know what? Speaking of ASICs, guys, I forgot to show you how much it costs to mine one full Bitcoin on your ASICs right now. Gosh darn it. Let's take a look at that. It seemed like the show was a little too fast, so I apologize, but you can tell I'm doing this real time. We got the Antminer S9 at 14 cent power. Looks like today you need 14.6 to break even. So you're in the money even at residential rates, but let's go down to 8% or 5, starting with 8. And at 8%, you're mining one full Bitcoin for $18,500. That's probably a pretty good place to be with an S9, but if you don't have 8 cent power, go get it, right? Go get you some 8 cent power. I think that's the only way to make an S9 make sense in today's market. Moving from the Antminer S9 over to the WhatsMiner M20S, which has been our other control ASIC, just to see what we've got, like have some comparisons here. At 14 cent power, you're also mining one full Bitcoin for $18,500 US. So you can mine residentially with the M20S by MicroBT. So that still, for me, tells me that the hardware profiles, they are a changing in Bitcoin mining in particular. You got to be kind of picky. Yes, you can make it happen with an S9. Yes, you can do liquid immersion cooling. Yes, you can add additional firmware to get that hash rate a little bit higher, nearing 17 terahash per second over the stock 13.5 or higher. But I don't think that it's going to make as big a difference for you as just acquiring, if you're acquiring, the best possible bang for your buck, which right now, in my opinion, the M20S really fits the bill. Looks really good. So that's our cost to mine one full Bitcoin, guys, and those two control groups. Let's take the same just for apples to apples, go back to 8-cent power on the M20S. And now if you're co-locating with that M20S, you are kicking butt and taking names, full $8,000 shaved off the price of mining that full Bitcoin. That profit is over what you would get with the S9, right? How would you like $8,000 off the price of one full Bitcoin? You can have it as long as you have an M20S and not an Antminer S9. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go back to our ASIC portfolio, guys. I apologize for the delay there, but back on our portfolio, Decred is still leading the pack at only 11% down. Our total P&L is 31.9% in the red. Bitcoin is our second place here in the ASIC mineable coins, which again is a little bit of a confusion to me. We'll see what happens with this most recent upturn right there. You see that movement upward. We've come up significantly in the last 24 hours, 4% up on BTC, 4.3% up on Decred, but those are some of our biggest winners. Apparently, Bitcoin also up 4.6%, and then Horizon up 6.9%. Really strong recovery from Horizon. That's the Horizon we know and love. That looks a little bit more realistic. Hopefully we'll see even stronger recovery from then, because I know that the Horizon team has put a lot of work into making their masternode network very functional, right? These should be service nodes at some point in the future. Not totally familiar with what they have running on it right now and how that would compare to, say, the Flux network today, but we'll get a comparison going for you guys very, very soon, because I think it's probably the closest. That and then the Oxen network. Those three, in my mind, are some of the most useful masternode networks that have switched their orientation from masternodes strictly for consensus on a blockchain to enhanced service nodes that offer block rewards for people who create useful work on a decentralized node network. So hopefully that we see more recovery, but I'll do a bit more of a direct comparison in the coming days and weeks. All right, Pirate Chain still second from the bottom. That chart is starting to look a little bit more normal based on the recovery of other coins. That upper channel that it's now performing in has a little more. It's a much wider channel, right? The lower support line is a bit lower from those dips. And then the upper trend line, the meat of the trend line is just a little bit higher also. But Pirate Chain recovering, it looks like somewhat, not as fast as some of the other coins. But again, so anybody from the Pirate Chain or Komodo ecosystem, you want to reach out and we can talk a little more about your project. Not so much about like price action per se. That's not the most important thing, but just the current snapshot and the current iteration of Pirate Chain, where it's at, how much has been emitted, what the opportunity is for miners right now. It'd be really cool to talk to you guys. So let's see if we can get that going sooner than later. Guys, that's our ASIC mineable portfolio. Zcash and Bitcoin, Dash, all kind of middle of the road. Bitcoin making a much stronger recovery. I didn't think I would see that. We're nowhere near even 1 US cent right now on the value of Bitcoin, but it still manages to eke by with a total market cap of over $60 million. About 80% of that, of course, is pre-mined and privately owned or cannot be accounted for. Could potentially be in the hands of just one person, which you just look at this right here. Gosh, 80%. Where does that put us here? That puts us at 48,000 or 48 million in value that could be in the hands of the developers still with Bitcoin. I don't really understand it. I need to validate that to see what the current state of affairs is over in Bitcoin land, but I don't like it. I don't hold any Bitcoin right now. After it stopped being mineable on a single CPU, I was like, yeah, it was fun to try out years ago. I'm just not a big fan of it now. However, it is ASIC mineable, so it's on the list. Let me know, do you have one of the older Crypto Night mining ASICs, and are you mining Bitcoin? Sound off in the comment section, guys. What keeps you mining Bitcoin if you're doing that? I'd love to know. Just curious about that. I would really, really love to know, because I'm not doing it. I don't know anybody who's doing it. I don't really know any Bitcoin maxis, so to speak. And I'm a little bit suspect of Bitcoin maxis because of that massive pre-mine. But guys, going over to our chart, we've got these two channels that we're still kind of living in, right? Really, there was this like interesting transitory spot right here where there was this breakout that was super like parabolic right there. Boom, giant leap up, breaking out from 40,000 all the way up to nearly 50,000. It was rejected. then retested, but kept on pushing through that sawtooth pattern upward and to the right, an upward channel there. And then over 50,000, kind of camped out between 50 and 60K for a while, and then brought back down to this lower channel, something that's kind of worth looking at, I think. And again, I'm not offering technical analysis and not offering any kind of advice as to like trading strategies or any kind of like buying or selling signals, guys. You got to take care of all that on your own. You really do. And especially take care right now while we're in the middle of what I suspect is still a much, like if we zoom out, there'll be a much bigger movement, a bit like how we're zooming out right now. Towards the beginning of this year. I think getting out towards the end of this year, we may see another giant push upwards, maybe back into the 50,000 to 60,000 channel and maybe back above it. Who knows? Not making any predictions there, but I do strongly believe that there's potential for that towards the end of this year. We're going to see some legislation coming out towards the end of the summer that may kind of dictate the terms of what institutions, how they participate in Bitcoin specifically. And again, is Bitcoin the de facto gold standard of cryptocurrencies? Yes. Yes, it is. Welcome back to cryptocurrency. Welcome back to blockchain. Guys, if you doubt the future of Bitcoin, you doubt the future of cryptocurrency in general. The network effects are so strong. And irrespective of Metcalfe's law, just the network effect, the social network effect, the branding power and the brand equity of Bitcoin, capital B, around the world. You say Bitcoin and you can travel into so many countries throughout the world right now. And it certainly has the brand recognition of something almost like the US dollar or the euro. You get people who understand what you're talking about no matter where you are in the world. So am I focused on Bitcoin? Yeah, I'm focused on Bitcoin. Do I think it's the only cryptocurrency out there? Well, no, obviously not. We've got a market cap with thousands of cryptocurrencies. I think almost 8,000 that are currently active right now. Many of them probably need to just go chain dead, probably just need to disappear, but Bitcoin is very unlikely to go anywhere. Will it lose market dominance after this run? I think so, probably. I really do. And again, let's just look back at that. Those financials on Uniswap alone, and guys, that's just one automated market maker system, one DEX, right? That's within the Ethereum virtual machine ecosystem. And there are others, right? There's 1inch. There are several others that work not only on Ethereum, but on other networks too. So to be able to be able to say with a straight face that you think that Bitcoin is the only coin, guys, look, I know that there's only lies, damned lies, and statistics, but I don't think these are just statistics. I think that these are the raw numbers. These are the raw data. You do with that what you will and spin your own statistics. But for me, my interpretation is this means that Bitcoin is not going to maintain its dominance moving forward. The last year has forever changed the game. It's not going back. The world does not get to go back to a world where to a reality where Bitcoin is the only coin that we can take seriously. It just isn't. It just doesn't. As much as I love Bitcoin and for what it stands for as hard money, and I think it's a phenomenal use case moving forward, that will only be one part of a broader system of currency and decentralized finance. Just like right now, it's still true that there's more wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum than there is Bitcoin in Lightning Network. It's still true. Doesn't matter how far Lightning Network has come, you look back at these numbers and it's very clear that wrapped Bitcoin is being actively traded on Ethereum, actively traded on Binance Smart Chain. Now here for Uniswap, we're mostly just pointing to the Ethereum network, but it's being actively traded on these other networks. So wrapped representations of Bitcoin as the store of value, they're being traded much faster with much faster block times and much higher throughput across a variety of other chains. Yes, some more centralized than others, but if we can really put our money where our mouths are and say, look, I only want to trade Bitcoin on these more decentralized networks, then we assist in the decentralization even of Bitcoin, in that the second layer itself is decentralized and not merely peer-to-peer in a channel like a Lightning channel that does have some potential risks, right? When you add proof of work like on Ethereum, then you make it harder. You make it harder for there to be secure, like a threat surface. There we go. An attack surface for Bitcoin to be stolen on that second layer, that faster transactional layer of networks like Ethereum. So guys, again, I'm just going to say that the 2017 run up was thanks to stablecoins that launched on Ethereum, right? If there was no tether on Ethereum, we would not have had $20,000 Bitcoin. If there was no wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum, we would not have seen this over the last year. The debate is silly, guys. And for me, you're not going to win me over to maximalism on Bitcoin or Ethereum, either one. You're not going to, by saying, well, look at what we did. Bitcoin would be nothing without Ethereum. That's not totally true. It wouldn't be nothing. It wouldn't be nothing. But we wouldn't have had $20,000 Bitcoin, and we wouldn't have had $60,000 Bitcoin, and we wouldn't have had, again, this very active and vibrant trading ecosystem that leverages Bitcoin and puts it into irrevocable smart contracts that don't mess with the value of Bitcoin, right? Relative to the other oracles that feed these systems. Guys, I know I'm going on a bit of a rant there. I feel like I have to clear the air. Some people will say stuff in the comment section that's like, oh, it's only Bitcoin or it's only Ethereum. And people who think that it's like in this binary thinking, black, white, Bitcoin or Ethereum only, I'm sorry, you got another thing coming, because you got another thing coming. There's so many other networks that want to come in and expand the network capacity for Ethereum. And really, that's code for if we can do it better than Ethereum and we can adopt their smart contracts, then over maybe not the first quarter or two, maybe not the first year, but a lot like these guys, Uniswap, did to Coinbase, it'll take them a little bit of time, but they can eclipse and ultimately make irrelevant all the stuff that came before. So Ethereum is not the only game in town either. It's not Cardano, though. I mean, for sure, obviously, guys. Don't get it twisted. I'm not going to be like, you're XRP, the standard. It's so cross-border payments. Obviously, no. We want this decentralized, right, guys? And I think that there's more in town. Like, there's more to the story than just Bitcoin and Ethereum as far as that decentralization narrative. Guys, here's that chart just one more time. I wanted to zoom in and show you a little bit of the last couple of days. We've got that 200-day moving average and that 50-day moving average. We've got a reversal in the moving average, right? This, I think, is bullish. For how long? For how far will it run? I'm not going to make any predictions there, guys. Again, I'm not a technical analyst. I'm not going to pretend to be one. But I mean, this is just a chart. You can look at it the same as I can. It's right there, right? We see the reversal of the 50-day moving average. That means something, right? It's not nothing. And who knows? Maybe it's still just this wave, this sign. Gosh darn it, this sawtooth pattern moving down and to the right. Maybe we still are in a channel with that 50-day moving average. Let's go ahead and draw a line right here. Maybe we do see something of a downward channel here in the 50-day moving average, and maybe we don't get a chance to really escape that. Maybe that is a bit of an issue for us in the very near future. Again, I don't know. Let me try to put that through as close to the bottom ridge line as I can there. But I think that it still keeps us above 30,000 for the next little while. And certainly the reversal kind of shows maybe we're not heading down below 30,000. Maybe we don't live below 30,000. If we do, no big deal. I'm still comfortable dollar cost averaging down to $20,000 Bitcoin if we really get there. And as you saw from the cost of mining Bitcoin on different hardware profiles, man, if you're on something like the M20S and you're on co-location grade power of below 10 cents or 8 cents or maybe even 5 cents, you're fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to be profitable every single day over your cost of power. You're going to pay down your equipment costs and you're going to be fine. And if you don't have to sell, obviously, acquiring Bitcoin at the prices of those miners right now is great, even with that downward trend, that channel downward until we see a proper reversal, which I think again we'll probably see before the end of this bull run, right before the end of this year. All right, guys, without giving you any financial, legal, or business advice, those are just my thoughts on the matter, guys. I'm really loving drawing these lines on these charts. Isn't this fun? It's like gosh, what is it like? It's kind of like paint by numbers. Really, it is. This stuff is like, based on what I'm showing you so far, I'm showing you the easiest possible, like, draw a line. So I don't think it's anything special, but I'm having fun, guys. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for being along this journey with me. You know I love your face. Thanks for being subscribed, sharing this channel. It really means a lot. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers, and I know you're getting tired of me saying it, but I'm not getting tired of saying it because we got to cross that 10,000 subscriber threshold. You can do it. I believe in you guys. Hit that button. Share this video. Love your face. See you in the next one. Remember to stay private and mind your biz.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.
Thank you.